Hey, welcome to AK Astrology. Thank you so much for being here. So it's a windy day in San Jose, California, and once again I'm on top of the hill because I just love these views, and this is kind of meditation for me to come here, look at these views, think about new things in astrology. And astrology is all about decoding. So you will never get anything served on a plate for you in astrology. You have to decode astrology, and that's why I'm here. I decode astrology, sitting here, think about things, reading old books, ancient Purans and all of those kind of stuff. And it's quite windy and my camera could fall anytime, which is kind of bad. But anyways, today we will be discussing about something which is called 8th from Venus. Now, why 8th from Venus? A lot of my astrologer friends will be very curious about it. Like, why 8th from Venus? Because Venus is all about 7th house. Venus is about 2nd house. Venus is about love, relationships, 5th house, 7th house, but not about the 8th house. So it's good to be curious, because when you are curious, you get your answers. Everything starts with being curious. So always stay curious, think about more and more. So now coming to Venus and 8th from Venus. Now, why 8th? Well, Venus is somehow related with Sanjivini. If you will read the Puranas, or if you'll read Ramayana in depth with astrology, the Sanjivini booty is kinda related with Venus, and that booty is Sanjivini is the reason Lakshman got rebirth. So rebirth is seen from 8th house in astrology. That is the reason we will always look 8th from the Venus. Now, what will we look and how we will interpret that? So 8th house is the house of rebirth, and Sanjivini is the reason to give you rebirth. Like, basically, giving you something again. If you lose your life and you get Sanjivini, you will be alive once again. So that's the concept of Sanjivini. And that is exactly the concept of 8th from Venus. Let's suppose that you have Venus in your 12th house. And the Venus in the 12th house is considered as the exalted Venus, although it's in the sign. But let's just consider it, even it's not in a sign, it's in a nakshatra. But let's just skip all that and come to the 12th house. So in the 12th house the Venus is exalted. Now we have to count 8 from the 12. 8 from the 12th will be the 7th house. Now this person will have issues, will lose his 7th house once in his life and will regain it later on. Now, what is 7th house? 7th house is, let's say 7th house is marriage, right? Or a relationship. So this person who is having house in the 12th house, Venus in the 12th house, this person could lose his relationship once in his life and then he will regain it. He will definitely regain it, no matter what. Now let's say Venus is in the 3rd house. Now 8th from the 3rd is the 10th house. This person will definitely lose his career once in his life. Or 10th house is reputation. So this person will definitely lose his reputation once in his life. But he will regain it. The Sanjivini will work on him. And he will regain that career. Or he will regain that strength. He will regain that respect, that reputation. Or we can do it from all houses. Let's see from the 1st house. So if the Venus is in the 1st house, that means if Venus is in the Lagna, then 8th from the Venus will be the 8th house itself. So this person could lose all his meditation once in his life. Or what we say is, this person will lose all his tantra, Like if this person do some kind of chanting, and if this person is gaining some kind of tantric knowledge, or if this person is doing some spiritual activity that is giving his strength to his 8th house, he will lose that once. I'll give you an example. There was a guy who met with an accident, but that guy was saved. And one astrologer, I'll not take the name, but very famous astrologer, one of my guru, he said that this guy has spent all his luck now. All of the tantra he did in his life is now lost. But that lost tantra helped him regain his life. So you will lose 8th from the Venus, no matter what. If your Venus is in the 2nd house, you might lose your relationship with your father. Because 8th from the Venus will be 9th house. 9th house is the house of father, and 9th house is the house of guru. You could lose a good guru if you have, Venus in your 2nd house. But you will regain it. That's the beauty about it. You will definitely regain it. The Sanjivini will work for you, and you will regain that relationship. You will regain some better guru, and you will see that 8th from the Venus, the thing which was destroyed at one time in your life, is something you will regain. Now when you will regain will come on later about that. Later on it. Now let's say the Venus in the 3rd house. Now if you have Venus in the 3rd house, the 8th from Venus, what will be 8th from the Venus? The 8th from Venus will be 10th house. The thing we just talked about, reputation. The person could lose reputation, or the person could lose his career. But this person will regain it. Now let's suppose Venus is in the 4th house. Now if Venus is in the 4th house, it will be looking at 11th house. You will lose your close circle once in your life. You'll see that all the people who are nears and dears to you, you will lose all of them. Or you can lose your elder brother. You can lose your elder brother. You can, have a worst relationship with your elder brother, or worst relation with your near and dear ones. But you will see that that relationship will be regained later in your life. Now if the Venus is in the 5th house, 8th from the 5th is the 12th house. So this person will again lose all his meditation once in his life. He could be saving his son, because Venus is in the 5th house. Again, coming with an example, there was a guy having Venus in the 5th house, and his child met with an accident, and that accident was something, very dangerous accident, and the person could have even died. But the meditation of father, having Venus in the 5th house, saved his child. But he loses all his meditation at that point. He loses everything he collected during his meditations, and now he will regain it. He have to do it again. Or this person could lose all his money in foreign lands, even by sending a children there. This person could send his child abroad and could lose all his money, and then he will regain it. This is the beauty of Venus 8th house in the Venus. So everything has to be seen, like every house has to be seen from every planet. But 8th from Venus is very important. Now coming, if the Venus is in the 6th house, Venus is in the 6th house, the 8th house will be the self. That means the 1st house. This person would lose himself once. This person will go in depression. This person will face like he is no more. He is not the person he was. And then he will regain himself. He'll see getting himself better later. But once in his life, this guy will definitely lose himself. Now if the Venus is in the 7th house, the 8th from the 7th will be the 2nd house. This person will lose his family. This person will lose all his bank balance, or this person will lose all his inheritance. Maybe this person could lose everything he got from his parents or their parents and their parents, because it's 8th from the Venus. But he will regain all the properties. He might not be able to regain the same properties, but he will be regaining the equal amount of properties later, or equal amount of family later, or equal amount of bank balance later. Now if we come and see the Venus in the 8th house, then the 8th house, from the 8th house will be the 3rd house. 3rd house is all about siblings. So this guy could lose his siblings. Or 3rd house is the house of communication. So this person could lose himself in media. You would see a lot of people having Venus in 8th house will lose their reputation to media. And then media will again regain that reputation later. Now if the Venus is in the 9th house, the 8th from 9th will be the 4th house. And 4th house is the house of mother. So this person could lose his mother or relations with the mother. 4th house is also the property, the land, the homeland. This person could lose his homeland. This person could lose his mother. This person could lose his emotions and then regain it later. Now if the Venus is in the 11th house, in the 10th house first, so the 8th from the 10th will be the 5th house. And 5th is the house of children. This person could lose his children once in his life and then regain them later. Or the 5th house is all about entertainment. The 5th house is all about cinema. The 5th house is all about hobbies. So this person could lose his hobby once in his life due to some stress, due to pressure of work, because 10th house is work. So due to the 10th house, he might lose his hobbies, but later he will regain them. Now coming to 11th house, if the Venus is in the 11th house, the 8th from 11th house will be the 6th house. Now that is so good, because you will lose a disease. Now 6th is the house of disease, 6th is the house of debts, but 6th is the house of competition as well. So this guy will lose his competition once in his life, but later he will find that yes, he is now back in the competition. So Venus in 11th will stop the gains coming due to the competition. And once this guy will regain the competition, he will realize that gains have coming back. Now if the Venus is in the 12th house, we have already discussed, but still the Venus in the 12th house, the 8th from 12th will be the 7th house. And 7th house is the house of relations, 7th house is the house of business, 7th house is the house of market. So this guy could lose in market, this guy could lose in stocks, this guy could lose in business, this guy could lose in relationships, but later regain them by himself. So as I told you, astrology is all about decoding things. So I hope this decode of Venus and 8th from Venus will help you see things in your chart and will definitely help you understand why you lose something in your life. And you will now also know that if you lose any of these things and if your Venus is in that condition, don't worry, don't do any remedies. You will regain it automatically with time. So till then, thank you so much. For more astrological help and details, you can follow AK Astrology and check out the links below. For now, I'm gonna enjoy my views.